I've been staying up all night, staying up all night, staying up all night.
What's up, brother?
What's up?
Welcome, my man, to the whip. Maximo Corridino Mondini in the building.
To the whip, to the whip, to the whip, whip, whip.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Daddy Nat Podcast, third episode strong, continuing the theme with my OG homies, really, over everybody to come on the pod, and none other than a former bandmate, honestly, probably my best friend, for most of my life, not on some lame shit, but yeah, grew up together in Athens, so figured, I'm probably going to start having, other people on. I know Ricky and Mal aren't necessarily in the Athens crew, but they're still kind of OGs. Sam will be on here, and then we'll pretty much have most of the Athenites on here,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
What's up, baby?
Not much.
Fucking A.
Just, we're doing this podcast a little bit on a whim.
Yeah, well, that's how most of them have gone thus far, but yeah, this one's particularly on a whim. Actually, you hit me up at Hole in the Wall. You were chilling at Hole in the Wall probably maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock. He hits me up. He's just like, dude, what's going on? Want to come get me? I guess he'd take his car to your shop, checking his car to the shop or whatever. And
yeah, so I took my car to go get an oil change, and then went to Hole in the Wall, got a little buzz, and that is what I actually wanted to start off the podcast with.
What do you got?
I got Ross a gift.
What the F, David Blaine? What'd you give me? Hold on. Hey! Oh! Let's go! Wait, this is a gas mask?
Yeah.
Dude, I've never actually ever owned one of these.
Well,
Let me see.
there you go.
Well, I don't know if I want to put this on right now, but what inspired this? Where did you even find this?
I just like checking out bongs at smoke shops, and then I was like, so I also bought this not only because I thought it would be funny for the podcast, and it would just be funny for you to have, because I feel like
wear the hat for it. We'll save this.
We've been friends for way too long. I don't think we've gotten each other gifts ever.
We've gotten each other gifts before.
If anything, you
mostly
probably
they're
got me,
gag gifts.
I was gonna say, if anything, Ross probably got me a gift, but I don't think I've ever gotten Ross a gift. So.
Do I think I'll get demonetized for having a water pipe? A water pipe on? Bro, you know how whenever you go to the shops and they say, sir, it's a water pipe? Sir?
Yeah.
Sir?
He was like, you can put stuff in it.
Where did you buy it from? I feel like everybody in Austin's chill as that. Like when I was a kid, that was always like when you go to Tyler from Athens and you go to what was that head shop called there, dude? It's probably still there.
This episode's sponsored by water bongs.
No, water pipes.
Water pipes. Oh yeah, you can't even say bong.
You can't even say bong on fucking camera anymore, bro. What the fuck is going on? Well, shit, dude. Thank you, number one. Cheers to that, bro. I am going to take it off screen just for a little while so we can... that would be awesome to be here the whole time, but anyway. I'll be using that a little later, perhaps with you.
We'll keep it clean.
We'll keep it clean. Well, cool, dude. I kind of wanted to have you on here, as I was saying earlier, because you're from Athens. Well, actually, you're from California, but you moved to Athens whenever you were 4 or 5.
Born in California, yeah. So
let's just start with that. Tell me about kind of your childhood, and I guess maybe as you recall it, but also with an emphasis of what within your childhood kind of drew you to music, because obviously you're a musician and that's your main thing across the board. So what kind of brought you to that landscape?
Yeah. So I think. You get so many memories of your childhood. So, from my perspective as of right now, the relationship between my childhood and music, we were in Suffocating Vegetables together, and we were doing cover songs, yada, yada, yada. But
that's our first band, by the way, if anybody doesn't know.
I think I have a picture on my phone, but we're filming with our phones.
iPhone 13 shouldn't be so good.
Yep. Anyway, we were with that band, but I think during that time, my strong memory of when I first started playing guitar was me and Will pretty much learning how to play guitar at the exact same time. So we took lessons together.
Sure.
We played in the church together with Will's mom. She would sing, and me and Will, that was one of the first times actually like getting in kind of rhythm and testing out like different voicings, I think, subtly, not like super crazy voicings, but like Will would play a G and I would do like the bar chord G.
Sure.
And we
Yeah.
thought
yeah.
that was super cool.
Yeah.
And still to this day, that's how I like to mix now. If I'm going to do a D up here, I'm going to do another D here, and spread those out in the mix, and it fills it up pretty nicely. But anyway, but I think back then, I don't think I loved music. I think I got really stoked with Will on AC/DC, and I learned Highway to Hell, and then I learned some metal riffs. And then when high school started coming around, I was kind of like, yeah, fuck music. And
Yeah, I know. I remember that.
Yeah. I feel like I was good at it, but I was just like, it's fucking lame. I want to like do gnarly shit. And I wanted to wakeboard. I was big into board sports.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I wrote down here Shred Town. You know, because that was another thing that we had in common was we were both we skated a lot. Like that was one thing that was always interesting to me is like music, you know, and I was also interested about your early childhood because I think you have there are some things about your life that draw you to arts. I mean, Max, don't take this the wrong way. You're kind of a spacey motherfucker. Like you're really like out there. You're into sort of this artistic endeavor in almost everything you do. Yeah. And when I first, when we were in high school, I remember I thought that because of the action sports and because of Shred Town, because of all the things that we did there, I thought you were going to have way more of a knack for filming. I thought you were going to have way more, I literally thought you were just going to get really into film, and that was going to be your main thing. And then to my surprise, you know, I fucked off to New Zealand, and you came to Austin, you know, before any of us. So you've been here, 12 years now?
10,
I think like, or 11, you've been over 11 because you got here when you were 19.
I went to Hole in the Wall. I was like, I had my first legal beer at this bar, and it was just weird.
But dude, you're 30
today.
now. Like we're both 30, but like you moved here when you were 18 or 19.
Yeah.
So anyway, you know, you've been here longer than all of us. You all right, brother? God, cough up a
I know.
lung, dude.
It's fucking allergies, man.
Yeah, they're pretty bad in Austin.
They say
right
after
now.
about, what'd you say, after 7 years of living?
7 years they get worse. I've heard that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, so you basically were a shredder. I mean, Max, he might be being modest here, but he was like the only one of my homies who was like actually really good at wakeboarding. And like I said, we played music, we skateboarded. That was like two things that always coincided with at least our friend group, Will, me, you, even Austin to some degree. Anybody who was in the band. And then I remember it was funny because around 16, we had been doing a lot of water sports. Like our freshman year, we were doing Shred Town. For people who don't know, shout out Andrew, Chris, and Davis, homies from our hometown who basically became pro wakeboarders at like 19 and were able to go, you know, make a living off of that for years, and even won the X Games gold, I think twice. So pretty cool. Like from our hometown, that means a lot. There's not a lot of people from our hometown who have been able to pursue a creative endeavor that's actually been that paid off that well, except for Tay. You know, Tay Money. I mean, honestly, like Taylor. Shout out T Watson.
She's killing it right now.
Yeah, she's fucking dominating, bro. So anyway, you know, that was one thing that I always noticed. You were really good into action sports. I thought you were going to go pursue more creative endeavors in like maybe action sports filming, except you came to Austin and you got into music. So like maybe talk to me a little bit about like, you know, you actually, I was going to ask about like the first band, but remember like, let's go back. What? And this is 2011 for you probably. So like you came here, you ended up you hated school. So you like, you know,
so I was,
like let's fast forward from like there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, high school, I was really hardcore into skating. I would still play my guitar, but just kind of like play around with things that I knew. And
Or just partying and like wakeboarding and skating. Those were the things we did basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I came to Austin. I know Andrew from Shredtown did filming school here, but
Brent was here.
Yeah, I had a few friends here. So honestly, I just heard that Austin was like a party scene. And I think deep down, I just wanted to get out of Athens and party and do my own thing
and do something cool. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
you. Go to a city that you like vibed with. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, not gonna lie, yeah, I like ran around a bunch of parties, like the fraternity parties and stuff, and that slowly started falling out. They started falling in their cliques, and I started meeting other friends, and but it was like more chill. And then it really, I was gonna go to school for graphic design, but I had to get through so many more classes just to be able to take a college course.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, okay, screw school. So that was the moment. That was like 2013.
Okay.
I think. And I got a studio apartment down south, and I
remember that spot.
I was doing anything I could. I was taking guitar lessons from Austin Guitar School or something.
Yep.
And I was actually like really trying to get into theory, and
You went to Dub Academy.
yeah, and so I went. That was probably that's my biggest goal, closest thing to a degree that I have right now.
Right.
So
Fucking
I have like a certificate from Dub Academy for production in Ableton.
School of Hard Knocks, baby.
Yep. So
Dope.
I went there, did production there. Austin Comito actually came down and recorded drums, and you did background vocals.
Yeah, I did vocals. I thought, yeah.
You did like background vocals on a song.
Yeah,
It
you got
turned
me
out-
running out the door.
Yep.
Whatever that was.
It turned out
I
pretty.
thought that song was dope. Yeah.
It turned out pretty decent for the time.
Yeah, for considering.
was-
yeah.
It was cool. I was having a lot of fun, more so on the production side of things, learning how EQs worked and all that stuff. And then I started blending the two a little bit, and then Ross moved back to Austin and kind of was like, all right, he had a badass band in New Zealand, and so we just wanted to pick up where that left off, bring it to Austin, show everybody what we got, and we lived together and we had a lot of fun for like 3 years. Dude, that was like one
The
of the
Hewlett
best.
days. I talked about it on the last podcast. Yeah, bro. Those
Yeah.
were awesome, man. Those were like the kind of, again, just like getting after it in Austin. There's a lot of stuff that obviously, like, looking back, I wish I would have done a little differently with the bands and stuff. But I also think, it was interesting to me because I've always had this divide where I always felt like I always know I could sing and I always knew I could write songs, but I didn't really know how to like record my music to make it sound like what I hear and I listen to on a regular basis, like on a daily basis. And so that's why like moving to Austin was so fascinating to me because I brought all these songs over from my band in New Zealand called Simple Thieves. Took that here, we built Dirty Lens and like did a lot. Honestly, we were doing really good with Dirty Lens.
We wrote a few
Bro,
new
we wrote some
songs,
really
too.
good songs. Yeah, we wrote a bunch of new songs. You're right. Yeah. We did a lot of fun. Like I'm just saying, that's what I did. I brought them over here, and then we like wrote on top of that.
Yeah.
And that was a really interesting experience because the whole time, all I wanted to do was be able to do like rap and pop and hip hop songs, and like that's really like where my heart was. Is I wanted to be able to go and make music that was very different than what I'd been doing for the prior 10 years. Of,
Yeah,
like,
I still
my
have
music careers,
playlists I listen to on a regular basis with like Schoolboy Q and Joey
Totally,
Joey
yeah.
Badass.
We just bro. Like we just
Yeah.
loved like that's what I always listened to, and I just was so fascinated with it. And that's why you mentioned you learned Ableton. You have a certificate in Ableton. You were like the only person who I knew who actually like knew how to work Ableton. And I just kind of got to a point where I like had to take it more seriously. And then 3 years went by of us playing tons of shows, doing all kinds of stuff in Dirty Lens. Obviously, I was still working the full-time job, and we were all living together. And we got to a point to where I had to quit because I had to go pursue what eventually became Daddy Nat. You know what I mean? But like there was a lot of steps in between that. But yeah, I had to go do something different. I had to go try to do a different music pursuit. And you know, I think that's kind of why we came from that. But it's interesting to me because it's like, you know, we did all go our separate ways. You ended up going and doing a band with Sam, who's another guy from Athens, another homie. He'll probably be on the podcast sometime soon. But like, you know, it's kind of led you to where you are now and your sound and kind of what you're doing now. Do you want to talk a little bit about, you know, your project now, or maybe even like the last couple projects you've been a part of?
So what's funny is during the time of the ULIT days when I said we were listening to Schoolboy Q, Joey Badass, it was funny because we were in a rock band, but we really were like partying and listening to like.
And we were still making stuff.
Yeah.
We just didn't release any of it. We all made like our own like little fucking things.
Oh, I was saying during the time whenever we were listening to all that stuff, I was really into Unknown Mortal Orchestra at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we even covered one of their songs, and I thought they were kind of cool, but I didn't really get it.
I was really into Unknown Mortal Orchestra.
And I didn't get what they were at the time, but then...
And which is a band that I'd seen in New Zealand before I moved back and was just like completely enamored with, like had that kind of emotional connection, and they had just dropped a record, which I thought was pretty innovative, and it has actually turned out to be pretty innovative since then, and shaping the sound of Psych.
Was that when they dropped their
No,
first
that was
record?
basically what it was for me. No, that wasn't their first record. That was like their third, I think, when they finally had like the full-on new drummer and everything. But anyway,
Okay.
they were... UMO is interesting because they've definitely shaped sound, but what was interesting to me about that moment in time was I was obsessed with psych music, and the reason I was obsessed with psych music is because I felt like I needed to pick a genre. We weren't niche enough as a band. We were really trying to do like something that wasn't really like, it was a bit of everything, and as a result, it was nothing. And so I was really trying to like latch on to something, and so UMO was like kind of the first thing that like I really latched onto, and was like, I want to do psych music.
Yeah.
And then we started to do that. You know, that was kind of like the shift that I think we started going for with like artistically.
Yeah, and that's why I started liking, because Sam started writing music on the side at the end of that when he started Heroes.
Right.
And I like fell in love with that.
Yeah. Sam has great songs.
But
Always has.
But yeah, we started dipping into that. But what's funny is what's grown into my music now is the psych rock has formed a indie bedroom pop kind of genre, and I'm getting into all that stuff like pretty hardcore now, like
Still Woozy or Still Woozy, sorry.
Woozy, like Goth Babe, McG, so what's cool, I got tickets for ACL this year because a lot of those bands I listen to are going to be there.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty stoked for ACL this year. But, it started forming into that. And I've never been like a leader before. So like still even till this day, I'm learning how to like lead my own project. And there's a lot of, probably the biggest artists I look up to. Mm-hmm. Dayglow's one of them.
Shout out Dayglow.
Tame Impala.
Kevin Parker.
Cool thing about them, at least they put out the perspective. I know everybody gets help from a lot of people.
Sure.
But a lot of stuff that they do and their image, they're like DIY style bands. And I like that. There's no rules. I can do almost any genre I want. Like, that's why I like that. McG is really cool. He has like really beautiful acoustic songs. You got it?
Got it.
You got it. Cheers.
Fuck that bitch. You want a new beer real quick?
Sure. That's just been somebody listen to right now. And so what I've been trying to figure out is I've had my band kind of hounding me to try to book shows, and that's been stressing me out a lot.
And what's your band called, just so everybody knows?
It's just under my name, Max Mondini. So check out Max Mondini on Spotify. I have a song coming out.
He's right here.
I have a song
he's right here.
coming out.
Oh my God, he's here.
When is it coming out? June 17th.
And it's just under Max Mondini.
Yep.
Did you record that all yourself?
Yep.
Nice. Drums weren't done by your boy or whatever?
No, actually, Oh, this song. Yeah, this song I was done. Shout out to my buddy Brew Houston.
Let's go, Brew.
He came over.
Brew helped me shoot fucking No Regrets too.
Oh,
Shout out Brew. Let's go.
Dude, Brew's a fucking...
Shout out Brew.
Speaking of whole full circle.
Brew right here. Look at him right here.
Full circle. He's a badass filmer. Like, insane. Me and him get along so well.
Yeah, that guy's crazy.
So I still do dabble in filming till this day. But he helped me record that. He came over with a drum machine that day.
Oh, dope.
And that whole song's recorded with a drum machine. And he wrote the guitar riffs and everything too.
That's dope.
And I think he might have even helped out with the bass riff. He would tell me the ideas, but he was still a really...
The song you have coming out?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so
what song is it?
You Got Me Feeling.
Oh, okay.
You've heard it.
Yeah, it's the one we did a video for.
No, that one's out there. So I was going to release that one, but then...
I have heard that one.
I switched. Yeah,
Okay.
You've heard it. They're old. I'm releasing. I had them released under...
Max wrote these songs like 9 times 7 years ago.
Yeah.
4 score and 7 years ago.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, just about... Well, not maybe 5.
Which
5
isn't
years.
a bad thing, bro. I mean, like, you know Oliver Tree?
Yeah.
Have you heard that song that's like his big hit now? It's like, life goes on and on and on and on and on and on
I
and
think
on
so.
and on. That song he claims he wrote 7 years ago.
Hmm.
He also claims it used to be called Life Goes Onion.
Oh, wow.
Onion, onion, onion.
Yeah.
Onion, onion, onion.
That's pretty funny. Dude, I play his remix at weddings all the time. He did a remix, Suit and Tie, Justin Timberlake.
Oh, cool.
And it's fucking sick. People get down to it.
I mean, he's dope. Yeah.
Yeah. He has good sounds. He has good Splice samples, too.
I know.
Go check him out on Splice.
He also his most recent record, he's like trying to be like a Hollywood cowboy. I mean, he's definitely
really?
not a real cowboy by any means, but you know, he's
Yeah.
got he's got some shit popping.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want some boots from Albies, hit me up, Oliver.
Anyway, so what were we talking about? We were talking about...
You were just talking about basically like your influences that got you here today. You have music coming out on the
Yeah.
17th.
Oh, recording that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he helped me with a lot of it.
Oh,
and,
Brew. Yeah.
And then I think I went in the vocal booth and I just started writing him. It was like probably one of the first times ever I felt really confident with writing a melodies, because melodies are fucking hard, at least for me.
As a vocalist, you mean?
Yeah. And it's cool. I think I wrote that song. That was cool because I think during the time I was a little too much into Tame Impala.
Okay.
And I do have some songs out that are along that influence.
Yeah, it's fine. There was a time where you were literally just like trying to make yourself sound as much like Tame Impala as possible.
Yeah.
Which honestly is a good way to learn. If anybody's out there like trying to like learn how to be a good musician, try to just mimic other people. It's a great way to teach yourself stuff, and it also like makes you improv a little bit more for stuff because you're not gonna be able to figure out every little tone they do.
Yeah.
Well, you probably can now for forums and stuff, but like back like 5, 7, 8 years ago, it was a little different.
I honestly think that, like, I feel like I talked down on it, but actually I think it is like one of the best things you can do. That's what even Bruno Mars talks about, that like I copied the hell out of Michael Jackson.
Of course.
And
Dude,
even The Weeknd, Michael Jackson.
Well, the thing is, you really want to make sure what's inspiring you. There's a difference between a classic, bona fide classic, and that makes you move and makes you feel something every time, and a song that is hot right now.
Well, the best...
And that's like something I always try to different. I try to take inspiration from like everlasting songs.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say too. So like me trying to copy Tame Impala, I wrote some songs that I thought, at the time I was like, damn, this does sound sick. So I put it out. I think She Loves is probably like the closest
Silver
one.
Moon Project, right?
Yeah, I was under Silver Moon Project. Even the name, I was trying to be psychedelic.
Sure.
A little too close. But then I started branching out, listening to other artists. And I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I like the subtleties that I learned from copying Tame Impala. Now I'm on another route.
Sure.
And so I've been really liking the whole indie genre because I don't consider myself a powerful singer at all.
Right.
By any
Sure.
means.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really dope artists out right now. I think Still Woozy almost hits the nail on the head. McGee's kind of like this too. And
I think of Gus Dapperton. Actually, Gus has a pretty good vocals,
but there are some, they still sing good and they harmonize with each other, but it's like they're almost like rapping, talking ish.
Dude, it's completely
And
like
so-
recording on a microphone is so different than recording, like, than singing. It's
Yeah.
like people try to come up to me all the time. It's like, well, you really shouldn't smoke before you go into the vocal booth. Like, bitch, I have recorded so many more hours than you on a microphone.
Yeah.
Like, shut your god. Like, so that's one thing that I like. It took me a while to learn that it's like, you know, people who are like really into, you know, whatever. Certain
I would probably
technical
look at
aspects of
that. I would probably take that.
But you know what I mean? Like, you know how like
Yeah.
you like go on a microphone. It took me so long to learn like number one, how I need to sound on a microphone, and number two, what effects to use to give me the effect that I hear on every song by Post Malone or Kendrick or, you know, Anderson .Paak or whoever I'm listening to that, you know, deeply inspires me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how you learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, like,
So you don't need to be a great vocalist. Like, that's the
Exactly,
point I bring
yeah.
that up. It's like literally you can teach yourself like how to sound good.
just
you know?
copy people, and through
Just
that,
fucking be open-minded and
Yeah.
don't stop until you hit something that you like.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah,
And then do that more.
yeah, yeah. And whether it's doing it yourself or copying people,
Totally.
and copying people, it's something you can hide behind emotionally,
Bro,
which is
if you can
fine.
record a song that sounds even remotely similar to Michael Jackson, you're a fucking goat. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, at least in my opinion. Yeah.
And there's some people that just have that status too. They're just like, and even cover bands too. Like people like
Word.
I think
Yeah.
Connor's with a band right now. He's like, dude, he sounds just like Robert Plant. Like, exactly.
Oh, is that the guy who I wonder if he was in the video earlier today?
I don't remember. Maybe.
The one from my
From Instagram.
Yeah. Connor hit me up on that. Shout out Connor Williams, guitarist in my band in New Zealand, and also play guitar with us in Simple Thieves. Oh, sorry, in Dirty Lens. Simple Thieves and Dirty Lens. One of the greatest guitarists I've ever had the pleasure to playing with, and just a great musician all around. Dude plays like everything.
Yeah.
I think he can even sing a little bit. I saw him. I heard him sing a few times. He
He
would.
rips piano too.
Dude, he will literally melt your piano.
Yeah.
Miss you, Connor.
Yeah. We miss you, brother. But yeah, so getting inspired singing, then that the beauty of music is taking things from other artists that you like for the drums or for the bass.
Sure,
or for
yeah. Well, I
everything
mean,
else.
to me, it's just like, you know, you and I both really related to that Dr. Dre documentary. Was it a Dr. Dre documentary?
Was it
No,
Defiant
it was
Ones?
Defiant Ones. Yeah. Like Jimmy Iovine and
Dre.
And also everybody they had on that. It was just so interesting. And the number one thing that I took away from that, and I do want to skip ahead to Rick Rubin in a second.
Yeah.
But all they care about is how does this song coming out of my speakers right now, nothing more than that. Doesn't matter where it's come from or how it got there. How does it make me feel?
Yeah.
Does it make my body feel? Does it make me just evoke emotion, change, get me moving, get me sag, whatever it is? Does it take me away from this place?
Yeah.
And that is so interesting to me because if you recall, when I first started picking up Ableton and tried to learn from you and Sam and Brent, dude, you had to have this plug-in, dude. I'm pretty sure the whole reason the song
I
sounds so
know.
good is because you have to have this compressor, bro. And if you don't have this compressor, bro, and the summing mixer, oh, you're not going to be able to do anything. And if you don't have like this, dude, these are the things you need. Oh, you need this, sample pack. Oh, you need this VST. And it was just like so overwhelming for me. And I always remember being like, sitting back then and being like, it doesn't matter. It's like, it all is about, like, it did matter. And that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But we were so confused because
It's a tool.
it's a tool, totally.
And
But
it shouldn't define your song. So
well,
it's like,
it's like,
and I know you were coming from a better place. That doesn't matter. The song needs to be fucking
Dope.
legit.
dope.
And if you're even more badass, you do the dynamics yourself. Don't put a compressor on it.
Right. The take's got to be as dope as possible. And I've taken away from that a little bit more now. I'm a little bit more now as like, is the feeling there in the take? Great. Is the recording done very well on the take? Hopefully. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know, but what I'd say is whenever, as time goes on, you know what I mean? It's like I've come to realize that, dude, you could take the 15 version of me and give me all the music equipment on the planet, every bit of music equipment you'd ever need, everything. You give me Shangri-La, you give me Rick Rubin studio, and you could give me now a 2006 laptop with some shitty version of Fruity Loops or Ableton on it, and I would make a way harder beat. Yeah, the 2015 version of me, I would demolish me then. Sorry, I got a little distracted. One of my homies was like waving at me. Shit on my neighbors. But yeah, dude, like, you know, what I'm trying to say here is 2015 version of me could have all the equipment in the world, have Shangri-La, have Rick Rubin studio. I today could have a horrible setup, a laptop that's dying on a plane where I have no outlet, and like a very simple garage band. I feel like I could make something cooler, and that's all based on how you make music.
I think you would make some pretty cool shit if you had all that gear and you were 15 years old. Maybe.
It wouldn't be as good as what I can make today, though, because like I just have such a more polished ear for things.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
really just more of like you know, sort of like I don't know, just something that I saw from Defiant Ones. Whenever I look at Defiant Ones, I thought like, oh wow, it's really about how it makes you feel at all costs. It doesn't matter how you get there; it's just about how you feel. Yeah. And then you have like artists like XXXTentacion, who like I felt like, I don't know if you liked X that much, but like he broke all the rules. Mac DeMarco broke all the rules. Like Billie Eilish broke all the rules.
Yeah, Tame Impala did too.
Yeah, it's like all those things combined. I mean, I guess it took me through the Defiant Ones and then through Rick Rubin, you know, who we both really fuck with. It just showed me it's so much more about your heart and your intention and like your input and the energy that you bring than anything else. Yeah. And if you can channel that at any time, you can literally make records with a very minimal setup. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, look at what Rick does. You know what I mean? Like Rick just feels it. Like, what is he doing when he's in the studio, bro? He's like, he's absorbing it. You know, he's laying there like.
Yeah, exactly.
And just how important that is, you know what I mean? And like, yeah, I don't know.
That's funny.
What's your take on Rick? Yeah.
I was gonna say something about compressors. I watched the video on it last night. I should probably send it to you. I've never watched a video that really explains how a compressor works until I saw this video.
As simple as possible. Yeah.
And this is my most simple version of how a compressor works. Everyone always tells you it smashes the sound. Everybody fucking knows that.
Sure.
So to an extent.
Right.
In one form or another.
No, you're right. I mean, I was just saying, I don't know if everybody says that because most people don't even know it that much. But
yeah. So
most people are like, throw a compressor on it, makes it sound like, louder.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
And so it sounds louder, but a compressor, for example, this sounds really fucking loud.
Right.
And this sounds probably the same as when I was up close to the mic. A compressor just does that.
Right.
But I just acted out what it does. So then, anyway, what the rest of what it does, I figured out that a fast attack makes it sound really fucking soft.
Right.
And whenever you slow the attack down, it punches a lot. But it just plays the beginning of the snippets of the drums. And then the release is the feeling.
Right.
And it's like, you can like groove to it, or you can make it like grooving to like a hi-hat or something.
For sure.
That's in a nutshell. And it's really cool that you can just blend. If you understand that vague knowledge and you start thinking about it like that, you'll be like, oh, cool. I know what a compressor does, and it doesn't matter what compressor you have. You just feel it.
Yeah, I mean, all you have is like, you know.
And that's what I was going to say was
all you have is attack, basically, and you dial it wherever you want it to be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, like that. But I mean,
As
there's
long as
more
you
to it than
understand
that.
what you're doing,
Yeah, well, there's
instead
gain.
of just
Well, it's like when I realized like gain staging is actually like 85% of the battle.
Yeah.
and if you can do gain staging and then throw your shit on there,
yeah,
then you're gonna have a good time compared
Yeah.
to not doing that.
yeah,
And like, you know,
dude. I'm not
again, it's just all about like how it sounds and how it feels, and it also is about not doing, you know, if you're sitting in the studio and you work for 5 hours and you've just been mixing that song the whole time, and you're like, yeah, this mix sounds great now 5 hours into it. Sorry, bud. It's not gonna fucking sound great the next day.
You know
it's
what
not gonna
else-
sound perfect.
You know what else bugs me too? Is there's all these different videos of like my vocal chain,
Right.
my bass chain, my chain, and they're chain like literally plug-in after plug-in after
Sure,
plug-in
sure,
after
sure.
plug-in, and I'm just like, dude, the last couple songs I've made, I was really inspired by this Anderson Sheps video. He's like a huge mixing
Yeah, yeah,
engineer, and he said he got an Adele song sent to him to mix.
Yeah.
And he said they recorded it so well
I love this.
that he just sent it to the
He
mastering
literally sent it
engineer.
just back. He just said, no.
He said he might have done a high pass filter on 1 or 2 of the vocals, and that's all he did because everything else was so great. So
Yeah.
he used 2 plugins on probably the hundreds of tracks or however many they
Yeah,
recorded
however many
on.
stems they had. Yeah.
And people say like stack shit. I don't think you should stack anything if you have a really badass sample.
It's all about this, dude. It's like, does it enhance the sound?
Right.
There have been so many times where I've stacked like 11 harmonies on top of each other, and the song sounds way wider with 3 instead of 11.
Exactly.
So it's like people don't. We used to think the same thing. More and more. There's there's never too much, and it's like maybe you're right. Maybe if we went through like 100, maybe somehow. But I'm convinced it's really just about what sounds the best. It's just objectively like, how does this make me feel?
I just
does
don't
this
understand,
make me feel better?
I don't understand how like pop artists have like 60 to 70 tracks.
Oh, what do you mean?
Like I've seen some videos.
Oh yeah.
Not pop mixing engineers. Like they have like 70.
I mean, so like many of my tracks have like, especially when I'm in the studio with Brian, many of them have like 60, 70 tracks.
Really?
Yeah, there's a couple things that it does. Number one is you do basically stacking on with it for the vocals. So for like one night we had like this is one of the things that we do. Hey, a little game out here, a little sauce for y'all. We do triple vocals. So just literally feels like summer in the low light, and then we just do that 3 times, and as a result it sounds much wider, much bigger.
Yeah.
And that's how we get that sort of like super laid back effect but still present.
Yeah.
And then we have saxophones on top of that, guitar, synth. We have plenty of tracks that are literally just like sort of like atmospheric. You've coughed so many times in this podcast.
I know.
It's insane. Like, I mean, sort of all these different elements that make it. And at the end, we might have 60 or 70 stems on there. And maybe not all of them are completely needed, but, I get you. In my perfect world, before I ever send anything to Brian, it usually has like no more than like probably 15 stems on it.
Yeah.
And most of those are going to be just alternate vocal takes.
Yeah.
Because I haven't comped vocals, but if I've comped vocals, it's a little different.
Yeah. That's like kind of where I am right now with a lot of my tracks. Yeah, maybe like 20 stems or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say something about Rick Rubin.
Yeah, what you got?
I forgot.
Well, he's a legend. I mean, literally, he's everything that I would love to be able to accomplish. Like, if there was one person I could swap lives with, I mean, it's fucked up to say. Because I really would. There's really nobody that I really would. But Rick Rubin is maybe somebody. I think it's mainly because he's so present. He's completely sober.
It's funny because he seems
he's just
like
so perfect, bro. He's like,
and I think that's why I like him too, because he does seem like maybe from an outsider, like a spacey motherfucker.
he's here though, right?
Yeah.
Now, he also
He's
is
here
like,
in this room
No,
right now with us.
what I mean by that is he's very present, and he's also like gets shit done. Like,
Yeah.
he knows how to get shit done.
Yeah.
He's never willing to rush. He's never willing to drag behind.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things he says is there was a moment in time where, I won't say the artist's name, but there was a group who were basically on that documentary that he shot with the Rick Rubin documentary, right? And he came in there right after they did this amazing, just beautiful take. Just beautiful. And Rick basically said, all right, let's move on to the next thing or whatever. And they're like, he's like, great, let's move on to the next thing. Like, let's. And what Rick was thinking was, let's use this energy. Let's take what you've done here, which was perfect, and keep going. I'm not giving you any input, whether that was good or bad. You just need to, great. That's all I'm going to give you. I'm not going to give you some amazing praise.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next thing. And those guys took it as basically being like, they felt underappreciated. And as a result, you come to realize, like, his approach is all about efficiency. It is all about, like, getting the job done and doing it, in a and replicating it over and over again. And that might take 2 years or it might take an afternoon. But anyway, it's just interesting, like, how he approaches it, and, like, it's not done till it's done. But he's also not, like, going to hype you up. And his walls are all white as well. He has anything. He doesn't want any additional influence passed along as well.
Yeah.
Which is just very fascinating to me.
Yeah. I like that a lot too.
Well, dude, you want to talk to me about I want to talk a little bit more about music. If you got anything else you want to... You're coughing so much, bro.
I know. Dude, it's so annoying. This has been going on for a fucking month.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
You don't know why?
I have no idea why.
Allergies?
Yeah.
Probably?
And that's why I was telling you on the
Yeah,
phone.
yeah.
I was like, I've never had allergies like this before. And you were like, bullshit.
I was, bro, because I do think you're being a little bitch deep down. But also, I get it. They are really bad right now. I've been coughing a little bit more. But, I don't know.
Anyway. But you were saying you wanted to ask me about...
No, I just want to ask you about... So tell me about, like, some of your earliest music inspirations. And I want to know about your earliest music. So what was, like, the first music you can remember that actually you were into? The very first. Like, like, to where you... Maybe not, like... Not if you were, like...
I could tell you the first album I ever bought.
What was that?
Fucking Pokemon movie soundtrack.
No way.
Yep.
I want to be the very
Yeah, like the
best.
legit recording of it.
No one ever was.
Like the
that guy's name's Jason something. That guy's like...
Anyway, it's a whole album of not just that song. There's like a shit ton of other like random pop songs that were in the movie.
Pokemon songs?
Yes.
Weird.
They're not Pokemon songs. I think they're just general pop songs.
Okay, do you remember what your second album was?
Like
what were you into as a kid? Like, what did
Okay.
you listen to the most as a kid?
I listened to some of the first CDs. I think I was kind of alongside with Will with AC/DC, but
Yeah.
I remember
Will said Highway to Hell was his first album he ever bought.
But my brother knew how to download music online since I can remember.
Yeah, LimeWire.
And so it was like before that. He was even downloading music from somewhere else. I don't remember.
Pirate Bay. Napster. Keep going.
Anyway, he he had always downloaded like Lil Jon, Nelly, some I think we ended up getting an Eminem album. And then I also got The Offspring because we were inspired by Austin's older brother.
Yeah.
And he was really into them. And so The Offspring. Then not too long after that, I started really getting into metal.
Yeah.
But I was very picky about the metal I was into. Probably the top metal artist I was into was the Lamb of God.
Yeah.
Because they had really...
pop metal.
They had really cool guitar harmonies.
Yeah.
And I was so into harmonies
It's crazy
at the
how
time.
big metal was for a while.
I know. It was metal, Ozzy Osbourne, of course, Black Sabbath.
It was like the only place to go as a guitarist. It was like if you were into guitar,
Yeah.
like you basically picked metal.
Yeah, pretty much. And so we did, it was Ozzy and then, what was that one band? Zach Wilde.
Oh, Black Label Society?
Yeah.
Come on, bruh.
And then
Freaking Avenged Sevenfold and a System
Avenged
of a
Sevenfold,
Down and
Atreyu.
Disturbed and Atreyu. Yeah.
Yep.
I saw all of them at Ozfest, bro.
yeah,
Isn't that wild?
yeah. I saw Atreyu open for Avenged Sevenfold in California with Austin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
y'all going to that.
That was pretty sick.
Dang, dude.
We saw Tool in California too.
Yeah.
Were you with us?
46 and 2.
I'm sorry.
Were you with us with yeah, we landed in California and we went to a Tool concert.
Bro, do you remember that time we went to Disney World in California and we watched the fireworks go off, but it was all foggy, so you couldn't see one single firework?
I think so.
Bro, that was hilarious. Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, so you talked about. I mean, any other influences from growing up that you want to talk about?
No, just mainly like
You had a lot of hip hop in your area, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you were always super in.
So after the metal, then high school started coming on, and that's when I was like, "Fuck music." I'm gonna go
you started fucking
hardcore.
with hip hop.
So not just hip hop, but I think I was getting really into the videos Andrew was making for Shredtown.
Yeah, you just loved every song that he basically put in
And-
the video. I remember that.
Well, he had like such a cool vision with the songs, and still to this day, like I
Yeah.
want to write videos that work with
Andrew's
like,
very talented.
Yeah. He had I think he even got like a write up in a magazine one year. Like, how did you pick these songs to go with your videos?
Yeah, I mean,
so
dude,
well?
he is a serious talent. Yeah,
Yeah.
like literally.
And so, I just remember getting into all that music, and same thing with Andrew. He didn't just come up with that himself. He was
inspired by other people
He was obsessed with snowboarding videos
and skateboarding videos.
Yeah, and so
Actually, snowboarding probly more. Yeah,
probably snowboarding. Yeah, because skateboarding
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
have thrash in there and stuff
Right.
and a punk vibe.
Yeah.
Waterboard and snowboard, waterboard.
Waterboarding.
Yeah, waterboarding.
I'll waterboard the shit out of you, boy.
It was at the time, I remember him specifically saying, this is such a family-oriented sports, like, get together on the boat with your
Right,
family,
right.
and we're gonna wakeboard.
Yeah.
And, like, it's very,
Honestly, all the wakeboarding videos fucking sucked back then, bro.
yeah, and so they came in.
Fucking sucked in comparison to Shredtown.
They came in, and they were like, we're gonna put a street style to this, and we're gonna have fun.
Yep.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they weren't even as good of riders as anybody.
Yeah.
But they were so creative that they're like, dude, they're selling more boards than our top pros are.
Right.
We gotta
Well,
pay
they cared way
attention.
more about style than they cared about like.
And this was in 2008.
Yeah.
And this was
I know.
like before all of it. And
All
so
of it. Yeah, and now the whole game's completely changed. And
Yeah.
Shredtown was a big part of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they're
So
legends.
you're super
but-
inspired by that music. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was super into that music. It made you move a certain way. It made you picture things a certain way. I wanted people to be able to feel like they were cruising in a car or riding on a skateboard, or they feel like they could get pumped up like when they're about to bomb down a mountain going snowboarding or something.
Word.
Like,
Yeah.
So I would like to keep all that into my music
Yeah.
as much as possible. I still kind of I wanted to do what Shredtown did, but somehow morph that into like an artist.
Right.
And it being my own music and having fun with it. And these new indie artists are kind of starting to steer towards that direction. And I think that's, like, I watch their music videos and shit. I'm just like, damn, like, they're just going after it.
For sure.
They're not second guessing anything. They're just like, dude, shitty camcorder, fucking dance in the middle of the street with some, like, jacket they got from the thrift shop. Like, let's fucking go.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So-
yeah, it's definitely Hesh. Yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
more Hesh than I feel like it's ever been.
Yeah.
You know, which is dope.
Yeah.
But there's always like cycles of that. Okay, so what is your favorite song right now? And then I got another question for follow up. What's your favorite song right now that you're listening to the most? Could be a couple.
Right off the top of my head, I've been listening. We were talking about Mick G earlier.
Mhm.
There was a song called "You," and I've been listening to that a lot lately.
Dope.
As far as everything else, I've been going on my Discover Weekly pretty hardcore, and I like kind of make a job out of it. Like I make sure if I like a song or not. And
Right, yeah.
And I have separate playlists I put things in. If I don't like a song, but I like a part of a song, something that happened in it, and I'm driving down the road and I'm like, that would be a cool sound to mess with and put into a song, like have a section kind of like this song does, and I have an inspiration playlist.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'll separate things like that.
Put them in the inspiration playlist?
A lot of songs I like go into that playlist as well.
Oh, that's what's up.
But there are more songs that I'm like, okay, I like a part of this.
Yeah.
And so there's always, if I go back and listen to that playlist, I'm just like, why did I put this in there?
Right.
I always remember, no, I put this in here for a reason, and I'm gonna listen to the song. Usually, I'll get to the chorus.
You'll find
or
the spot or whatever. Yeah,
and I'll be like, oh, that's right. And so I have like all these mental notes.
Yeah,
like thousands of mental notes.
Got to write them down, bro.
I do. I have a shit ton of them written down.
Yeah. What would you say your favorite like artist is right now? Or maybe your biggest inspiration. We'll go with that.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like in my head right now, I'm like, I want to write this music, but then you think about aesthetics and stuff,
Sure.
and I get in my head about that a lot. And that was what I was going to say earlier about Rick Rubin. I saw a quote that he said. He's like, you will never figure out an aesthetic ever until you just start putting shit out there.
Totally, yeah.
And so like you can never
really see it going forward. You can only see it in the reverse.
Yeah. And so like
aesthetics are hard, bro. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are way better at it than me. I think I got music doing down, like more down than I've ever had it before in my life now.
Yeah.
But aesthetics are hard, and it's something I've definitely had to work at, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like inspirations right now, you'd say like McG, Dayglow. I mean, earlier you were saying like Dayglow is really big. What would you say in terms of aesthetics and also music right now? You know, like, because earlier you were talking about, I mean, aesthetics are big, right?
Yeah.
Like I think about everything that I do in music. It's almost dictated by like how you look, and
Yeah.
you know, it's like it really is. You know, in terms of like, it's almost limiting in a way for a lot of artists. So. But it can also be empowering. So, like, how do you look at it in terms of influence, in terms of, like, modern-day influence? We talked about all your stuff in the past, but in modern-day influence, I mean, who would you say kind of your top influences are?
Yeah, probably right now, still Woozy, digging his music a lot.
Yeah.
Now, the funny thing about McG, he doesn't have really any music videos out, or I think maybe he has, like, one. He's still... an up and coming
Spotify artist or something like that.
I think so. He doesn't have a lot of. He's been growing a lot since I started following him. But
Where'd you find him?
I think just on a Discover playlist.
Discover Weekly.
He
Nice.
just kind of popped up, and then I kind of just started like
digging it.
Like listen to one of the songs. I think it might have been You.
Yeah.
Like, a little bit more and more. The Marias is one more that are in that
group that you're into.
Yeah,
Cool.
he did a remix of one of their songs as well. So,
Oh, cool. Okay. All kind of all affiliated.
Yeah, yeah, that's who I've been. The Marias, Still Woozy, Dayglow. There's a handful of other artists too, but those are probably the top ones.
But yeah, you were talking about like aesthetics though. I mean, would you say like who's your what are you trying to emulate if there was like an influence? You know, we talked a lot about like things you're going.
I think right now I'm kind of trying to figure out how to not emulate. I feel like I've been emulating people musically and even with photos and stuff. I still do it with photos because photos are photos. You'll never figure out where somebody's like, oh, they copied this person.
Sure.
Unless you get every single little detail copied.
I mean, it's
but
like, how are you going to copy a photo? You just you can follow a similar aesthetic or effect. Yeah.
Neither here or there. But I kind of want to put my music that I've written to so far and just try out things with video. And my heart's kind of
discover like your look via that way.
Yeah, my heart's pretty set on video and photography right now. So I want to get a really there's a lot of people I look at. I look at Mac DeMarco. He has a very nonchalant, funny, comedic almost vibe. I love that. Like I could rock that, and that's like one of the things I'm thinking about. There's also like very colorful ones. I think the Marias are very cinematic. They're very their videos are very mainstream, but their music is still like indie, kind of like off.
Word.
Kind of
That's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. They're starting to come up a lot. Still Woozy, he has a very comedic type of attitude.
Yeah, there's a lot of indie kind of just like being kind of like bedroom nerds, basically. That's like kind of like what a lot of indie pop is, I feel like. You know what I mean? Just kind of
like fucking Mac
just
DeMarco's,
embracing themselves. Yeah.
He's just sitting there like putting on lipstick, like fuck you.
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know?
Mac DeMarco
Like-
is always like known how to kind of like just like rough people up a little bit, make them kind of like a little more uncomfortable, and have that add to his music. Not that adding lipstick was, but like when he did it originally, it was a little bit of a, you know, it wasn't cutting edge, but it was different. It was like, it kind of made you like, whoa, feel something.
Like you could just tell, like, wow, this guy really does not give a fuck. But he's still going through the motions of what artists do. They try shit. They wear crazy shit. They put on crazy shit. And he's just like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. The first thing that comes to my head, I'm going to just do that and be funny about it.
Dude,
and
literally.
I'm pretty inspired. That's why I was saying earlier, that's why I got that gas mask. Because I want to be funny in some upcoming music videos.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah. You want to use something that's like, you know, it could be a prop, but it can also be used tastefully, I think, you know, as well. Yeah. Well, dude, you got, you know, you're trying to work on the aesthetic. You're working on the pictures. You're working on the video. You have a song coming out on the 17th, right?
Yep.
Max Mondini on all platforms. Anything else you want to say before you close it out, dude? The floor is yours.
Follow me on Instagram, MX Mondini, and I usually just use Instagram right now.
IG.
I'm trying to get more into. That's why I'm gonna be working on YouTube and stuff more. Instagram, fiddling with TikTok a little bit.
Yeah.
Still like trying to figure out. That's a whole nother story, but
it's the world.
I'm gonna. Instagram's a really strong point for me right now. I love photos.
Reels are dope. Yeah.
Yeah, I love photos. I love reels on Instagram. So that's kind of my main jam right now.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah.
Pushing it limits all around, man. Coughing up a storm the entire podcast.
Yeah.
Well, dude, this has been a pleasure, man. I appreciate you coming through.
Yeah.
My best friend and longtime homie, Max Mondini. Check him out on all platforms, guys. This is Daddy Nat Podcast, episode 3. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Sponsored by Alvy's.
Sponsored by Carl.
Yeah, right. Sponsored by Carl.
AKA my girlfriend.
AKA his girlfriend. And let's make on some music, eh? You want to work on some music?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Cheers, guys. Till the very next time. Peace.
Staying up all night. Ah, na, 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 na. Ah. Cold 45 and 2 zigzags, baby, that's all we need. When I drag myself to the after party, I get drunk as hell and I leave.